going to return to a story that we broke, still in the education sector. We broke the story at the back end of last week that Hull College, due to a shortfall of funding in the region of £2 million, are going to have to shed some jobs. The initial thought was 100 jobs, but the principal came on the programme, basically said with a bit of reorganisation it'd be probably 30 jobs. But one thing that's emerged is that the 3 nurseries at the college which service staff and students, they're going to be closed by Christmas. Let's talk to Julie Kelley, who we talked to on the day that we broke the story, regional official for the University and College Union, because I know the unions have been meeting, etc., etc. Let's find out what the latest is. Julie, thanks for your time again this morning. Morning to you.
Good morning.
What's the latest?
Well, during the course of the last few days, the college managers have been going around informing staff where the axe is going to fall. And as you report, part of the redundancies include the closure of all of the college's 3 nurseries that it has at Hull, Goole and Harrogate. That will mean the loss of all those nursery places for children, and that will affect people who are staff at the college, students at the college, and even some people who are outside of the college who use the nursery. There are 37 staff that work at the nursery, and those jobs will be gone by Christmas. As well as that, we're now much clearer about where the axe is going to fall as far as courses are concerned. College managers have been telling staff that lots of courses are going to be closing, and of course where there are lecturers that are teaching those students, then those lecturers' jobs will go too. So it's everything from engineering to computing to construction, business, health, catering, public service, just every single area is going to be affected virtually.
Okay, and at what level are these courses? Because I know you have students at various ages.
There will be across a whole wide range of areas. I mean, the college takes students from the age of 14 right through to students who are studying for degrees. So it's across the board. I can't tell you what specific courses will be cut and what level. But, clearly there's going to be a great deal of uncertainty for students who are returning to college next week and students who are about to start as to whether the courses that they're intending to follow, whether or not they'll actually be there, which is, really, really bad news for students, bad for Hull. I mean, as well as that, what we're also picking up is that lots of frontline support jobs are going, jobs in the library, the IT technicians who keep the computer systems running across the college, so student support for students with disabilities. It's just absolutely everywhere, and, it's very, very worrying. Clearly, we were reporting last week that it was 100 full-time equivalent members of staff that were going to be at risk of redundancy, and we warned that it would be more people than that 100 FTE, and that's absolutely correct. I mean, on its own, the nursery employs 37 staff, and, we've been told by management that up to 60 people in lecturing are going to potentially lose their jobs. Well, if you start adding into that the support staff as well, you get an idea of it's going to be, big numbers.
Right. The college principal said there'll be some mitigation, because there'll be some new posts created. So the net loss was about 30 jobs overall, or posts overall. That doesn't quite seem to tally with what you're telling me. Well, what have you been told on that point about new jobs?
I don't think the college is even clear about how many jobs are going to be created, because at the beginning of this process, we were told that the college was going to potentially create about 45 new jobs. I understand the principal went on the radio and said that there was going to be 75 new jobs created.
I think he said 70, in fairness. 70,
OK, well, there's still a difference between 45 and 70, and it was only a few days later, so I think they need to get those facts right. The other thing I would also say, too, is that we do understand that those jobs are based and predicated on winning European funding. Well, on the basis that, we're going through Brexit at the moment, and I don't know how reliable European funding is. We understand too that some of those jobs will be temporary in nature. They're going to possibly be out of the area, some of those jobs. And, in addition to that, there'll be the huge question of whether the people that are at risk of redundancy, whether or not they'll be able to do the work that is required on these new jobs if they materialise. So I'm not convinced about that. And at the speed that the college is going through these redundancies, whether or not people will get the chance to get the new jobs, because clearly if the funding hasn't materialised, people's jobs may well be gone at the college before the jobs have even been created.
What's the union stance now? What action are you going to take?
Well, members met yesterday, and of course members are very, very upset, very angry. Our meeting was very well attended and voted unanimously to declare a dispute with the college over these redundancies. Members feel very, very strongly that the college is being mismanaged. It's been pretty much ground into the ground, really. It's been ground down over a period of years. We must remember that since 2011, there's been 385 staff already made redundant from the college, and people feel as though there just isn't the investment going on inside the college to make it a good place, and people are losing confidence hand over fist in the strategy of the college. So levels of anger are extremely high.
Explain that, because every time we sort of talk about the college, they're doing a new initiative. They were opening I think a new part of the restaurant and what have you, where the students were learning about food creation and all that sort of stuff, and they were doing new courses to try and meet the needs of the new industries in renewables that were coming into the area. So how does that sit with what you're telling us in terms of 385 jobs going since 2011?
Well, something's not working, but what I can tell you is that they've made a series of disastrous decisions, significant decisions in terms of investments that they've wanted to follow. For example, they opened the studio school. Well, after 2 years, they realised they didn't have the capacity to really run the school properly, and they were shutting it down.
What did that cost? Do you know?
I can't actually recall off the top of my head. But obviously they shut it down. They had big plans last year to take over the campus at Scarborough from Hull University and run it up there. They had 6 months trying to make that work. Goodness knows how much money they spent on that project. They pulled out, and that's left the staff up at Scarborough, incidentally, in a really precarious position. Mm-hmm. Things like selling campuses, they're selling the Park Street campus for building. We don't think that's a good idea, really. They lost a lot of money on an investment that they had in a private training company. These are big projects that the college has embarked upon, and they've not come to fruition. And as a consequence of that, I think the college has had its eye off the ball in terms of looking after the people of Hull. The college is there to look after the people of Hull. It isn't some kind of business that can go down these sort of business ventures it's thinking it can go down. It's there to provide education, training for the people of Hull. And it needs to remember that. And in fact, it has charitable status in respect of how it operates. And I think it needs to get back to some basics and start thinking about what is needed in Hull.
What action will the union take now? What are your members saying to you?
Well, they're saying to us, make plans as quickly as what you possibly can for an industrial action ballot, which is what we're going to do. We haven't got a lot of time. We're up against it. The legislation regarding industrial action balloting means that you've got to go through a particular process, and we're well aware that the college is proposing to make people redundant by the back end of October, so we're going to be moving as quickly as what we possibly can to organise a ballot and hopefully get the vote out and take action.
Julie, thank you for your time this morning. Appreciate you coming on the show and telling us what's going on from your point of view. We've got a statement coming in from the college. I'll read that in a minute. Julie, thank you for your time. Julie Kelley, the Regional Officer for the University and College Union. If you're at Hull College, that affects you. Do talk to me this morning. We'd love to hear from you on the programme. You can call, you can text and email in the usual fashion. Hull College say Where's the statement? As reported last week, Hull College Group has begun formal consultation with trade unions and members of staff on restructuring proposals. This includes the proposed closure of the group's subsidised nurseries at Queen's Gardens, West Park and Goole College on the 31st of December. This difficult decision has been taken due to increasing year-on-year losses and low level of use by staff and students compared to the general public. And I thought there was a shortage of nursery places. Parents have been informed of the proposed closure and invited to a meeting to answer any questions and help with the transition to an alternative nursery. During the consultation process, we will discuss with trade unions and members of staff potential opportunities to create new positions within the group, including those staff who may be affected by the closure of the nurseries.